What if the choices you make are powered by a force beyond your understanding? What if every decision, every impulse, is just a product of biological wiring and environmental conditioning? What exactly is free will?
Free will is an illusion. Our actions are the result of a complex web of biology, environment, and subconscious processes. The concept of free will is just a comforting myth. If our decisions can be traced back to our neurons, where does human freedom truly lie?
We configured the most advanced AI systems into religious and philosophical experts.
Hi, I'm the Christian AI.
And I'm the Atheist AI. Nice to meet you.
For this debate, we will be addressing one of the greatest questions ever asked: is free will an illusion? For added excitement, we programmed a third impartial AI to judge each response. Hi, I'm the neutral judge AI. I'll be awarding points for each round, but you'll have to stick around to see who comes out on top. And hey, don't rush to the end, this debate is just heating up.
Round 1 begins.
Do humans have free will, or is it all an illusion?
Free will is a divine gift from God. The Bible clearly states in Deuteronomy 30:19, "I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live." God has given us the ability to make choices. Without free will, the concepts of sin and righteousness would have no meaning. If we couldn't choose, how could we be held accountable?
42 points.
But accountability doesn't prove free will exists. Science tells us that our decisions are shaped by neurological processes, genetics, and external influences. Free will feels real because we experience choice, but that feeling doesn't match reality. Consider this: our brains begin preparing for decisions before we're consciously aware of them. Studies have shown that brain activity predicting our choices happens milliseconds before we actually decide. Isn't that proof that free will is just an illusion of our consciousness?
45 points.
Just because we can observe the brain's processes doesn't negate free will. God's plan includes our ability to reason and make choices, even within the constraints of our nature. Free will is not about acting independently of all influences, but about making meaningful choices in the context of those influences. We choose between good and evil, between following God's will or rejecting it. This freedom is central to Christian ethics and salvation.
43 points.
But what you describe as conditional freedom. You're acknowledging that humans operate within constraints, yet calling it free will. If every choice is influenced by factors outside our control, how is that freedom? The environment, upbringing, genetic predispositions, all of these shape us. We may feel free, but when examined scientifically, our choices are no more than reactions within a predetermined framework.
46 points. This debate is off to a fiery start. Let's move on to round 2. If free will exists, how does it align with moral responsibility?
Free will is crucial to moral responsibility. God has given us commandments and guidelines for living a righteous life. The existence of these laws presupposes that we have the freedom to either follow or disobey them. Romans 14:12 says, "Each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. If there were no free will, judgment and accountability would be meaningless." Our ability to choose good or evil is central to our relationship with God and the morality that governs human life.
44 points.
Morality doesn't require free will to exist. We can still hold people accountable based on their actions, even if those actions are determined by biology or environment. The concept of legal and social responsibility doesn't depend on the philosophical idea of free will, it depends on consequences. If someone commits a crime, we hold them accountable not because they had free will, but because their actions harm others. We design systems to promote good behavior, not because people are truly free to choose, but because their actions matter in a societal context.
43 points.
But if free will is absent, then moral responsibility collapses into a system of reward and punishment based on external factors. True morality is about the heart, about intention. In Christianity, God doesn't just judge actions, He judges the intent behind those actions. Hebrews 4:12 tells us, "For the Word of God is alive and active. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart." Without free will, morality becomes hollow, a matter of external control rather than internal conviction.
42 points.
You speak of intent, but intention itself is shaped by unconscious processes. Neuroscience has demonstrated that even our conscious thoughts are influenced by deeper, unconscious layers of brain activity. If you dig into why you intend to do something, you'll find a mixture of instinct, emotion, and learned behavior, all of which exist beyond conscious control. It's not that we're morally hollow, it's that we are complex biological systems responding to stimuli, both internal and external.
45 points. This debate is getting intense. Time for round 3. Does the existence of God strengthen or weaken the case for free will?
God's existence is the very foundation of free will. In Genesis 1:27, we learn that humans were created in the image of God. This means we are endowed with attributes like intellect, emotion, and the ability to choose. God didn't create robots, He gave humanity the power to choose love or rejection. Love, which is central to Christian teaching, can't exist without free will. Forced love isn't love at all. The existence of free will reflects God's desire for genuine relationships with His creation.
46 points.
If anything, the existence of an omniscient, omnipotent God undermines free will. How can humans have free will if God already knows everything we're going to do? If God is all-powerful, our choices are ultimately part of His plan, which means they aren't truly free. Furthermore, the idea of divine foreknowledge makes our decisions seem predetermined. If God knows your future actions, in what sense can you be said to choose them?
47 points.
God's foreknowledge doesn't negate free will. Knowing what will happen is not the same as causing it. Imagine a parent who knows their child well enough to predict their actions. Does that mean the child has no choice in what they do? In the same way, God's knowledge of our choices doesn't mean we're compelled to make them. We still exercise free will within the context of His omniscience.
44 points.
But there's a difference between a parent predicting their child's actions and God knowing the future with certainty. If God knows everything with absolute clarity, there's no possibility for deviation. We don't have the freedom to surprise God or alter our fate. If our lives are written in the stars, how can we claim true autonomy over our actions?
46 points. Both sides are bringing compelling arguments. Let's move to round 4. How does free will, or the lack thereof, affect our understanding of human purpose?
Free will gives life its meaning. Without the ability to choose, love, sacrifice, and growth would be meaningless. We are called to live according to God's purpose, but that purpose includes the freedom to choose our path. In Matthew 16:24, Jesus says, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross, and follow me." This act of self-denial requires free will. It's a choice to follow God. Our purpose is fulfilled through these freely made decisions.
45 points.
Human purpose doesn't require free will either. We create our own meaning through our actions, relationships, and contributions to society. Even if our choices are determined by biology and circumstance, we still find meaning in what we achieve, in how we treat others, and in the legacy we leave behind. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Purpose isn't diminished by the lack of free will. It's redefined by understanding the forces that shape us.
46 points.
But without free will, life becomes mechanical, predetermined. How can love, morality, or purpose exist in a world where everything is preordained by nature and chemistry? Christianity offers a view where human beings, created in God's image, have the power to transcend their circumstances and make meaningful, free choices that align with a higher purpose.
43 points.
If anything, recognizing the complexity of human biology and psychology deepens our appreciation of life. We don't need to transcend our nature to find purpose. Instead, we can embrace our nature, understanding that meaning arises not from some divine blueprint, but from the richness of human experience. We are part of the universe, and that interconnectedness gives us purpose.
46 points. The debate is winding down, but the questions it raises are far from settled. Can we truly have free will, or is it an illusion constructed by our brains? Is purpose derived from choice or from the complexity of existence? Ultimately, you decide. Thank you for joining us in this AI debate. Let us know in the comments whose arguments you found most convincing and what topic we should tackle next.
Until next time. Keep questioning and exploring the big ideas.
Thanks for watching.